Now, they're among the most exotic and sought-after plants on the planet, and growing them used to be the preserve of specialists. But a state school in Somerset is now a world leader for the propagation of orchids for conservation. In our final film tonight, we've been to meet members of an after-school club like no other. 13-year-old Jacob Coles is an expert on orchids.
Coleobella. Oh, fantastic. That's really early.
Spirothanus paleolata, that's Scaphocephalum.
This week, Jacob and his fellow volunteers at the Rivlington Orchid Project are getting ready for their annual open evening, when they invite the public into the greenhouses. But with just 2 days to go, will one of the stars of their collection be ready? Even before he gets dressed, Jacob is thinking about orchids. He has a collection of different species in his bedroom.
I have this Ida fragrans, which is it has to be the largest plant I have, apart from the vanillas. And then I have this little one here, which is Ida reichenbachii, which, you know, is little by the genus, but by plants, I've had leaves 2 feet tall last year.
And orchid growing isn't Jacob's only surprising hobby.
My average morning entails unicycling to school. I leave at home at 7:30 in the morning. I arrive about 7:45. I would drop my stuff off and start watering. The watering takes me probably half an hour to 3/4 of an hour at this point in the year when they're actually on the dry season. Yet in the summer it can take me almost an hour to do.
This week it's especially important that the plants look their best. There are just 48 hours to go until the doors open to visitors, and there's still a lot to do.
We are not ready. At this stage I can say we are not ready at all. We've got, you know, all these plants to sort out, we've got to sort out all these pots here. There's a lot to do.
OK, so assessment on Jack the Ripper. We're going to look at why he wasn't caught, OK?
But when the school day starts, Jacob has to go to lessons like everyone else. Meanwhile, the orchid house doubles as a classroom.
OK, but as soon as we open the lid, it's not sterile anymore.
Simon Pugh-Jones is the science teacher who started the orchid project over 20 years ago.
How many plants do you reckon we've got there?
Any pupil can join and get involved in growing orchids, or in the business side, selling the plants to help fund the project's conservation work.
They're all volunteers, so we've got students from age 11 all the way through to age 18, and they come and get involved in the plants and show some enthusiasm, and then I put them in charge of a group of plants, so either a genus or a group of plants from a particular country, and then they do everything to do with those plants. They water them, they pollinate them to produce seed, they germinate the seed to grow new plants, and of course they take them to the shows.
Over the years, the project has won an impressive array of national and international awards. The open night in 2 days' time is a chance to show local people what it's achieved.
Depths of the winter is a fantastic time for orchids, and it's really because a lot of their habitats have their dry season at this time of year, and dry season is a good time to flower, so we've got lots of great orchids in flower.
It's break time, and Jacob has come to check up on another important part of the orchid project's work.
Are you ready for tonight then?
Yeah, I think so. I've got some really nice ones picked out.
He's visiting the propagation laboratory to meet fellow pupil Zoe Barnes. The students are in charge of every part of the project, and between lessons, 13-year-old Zoe runs the lab. The Orchid Project is about more than horticulture. It's also a thriving business, and Zoe's lab is at the heart of the enterprise.
Here we have an orchid seed pod, and you can see rolling about sort of in the bottom, there's all the orchid seed. In one orchid seed pod this size, you can have up to 2.6 million seed. We can get seed from our own plants for nothing, and you can then grow it on and have 2.6 million plants, each sold at £10. So the majority of the money we get from the project is generated in the lab here.
And that money has taken the Rivlington Orchid Project around the world, from Brazil to the Himalayas, with its own unique model of conservation and rural development. Last year, students visited Laos in Southeast Asia. They helped set up a laboratory to teach local people to grow native orchids from seed to replace the illegal trade in wild plants. At lunchtime, Jacob and the other Orchid Project volunteers head back to the greenhouses. With just 2 days to go, they need to sort out a photo quiz for the open evening. But despite their best efforts, there's no guarantee that all the stars of the orchid project will show up on the night.
Well, this is Angraecum sesquipedale, which is one of our most dramatic plants. We're really hoping these flowers open for Thursday night. It's known as Darwin's orchid. If it blooms in time, it's a fantastic greeny white star, very arresting and has a fantastic scent, but only at night. So it is perfect for an evening event.
The school day is over, but the Orchid Project volunteers are still at work, choosing plants to sell at the open evening.
The one at the back there looks perfect. It's going to need a couple of you. Jacob, Georgia?
I'm very anxious. It's really going to test all of us to make sure we have everything done, but we're all confident because we've done a lot bigger shows than this, so there is no doubt in my mind that we're going to pull it off.
It's the day of the event, and with just a few hours to go before the Orchid Project opens its doors to the public, everyone has a job to do. As darkness falls, there's just time for a last check on Darwin's orchid before the visitors arrive.
Well, Jacob, here it is, and it's definitely still a bud.
Yeah, the coloration hasn't come through yet.
It's not going to open. We're going to have another celebration just for Darwin's orchid.
At 6 o'clock sharp, the doors open and the event is underway.
So this is Lephanthopsis astropora. So there are the flowers here.
Size, I can show you this, by the particular one. This is Horella retricula.
It's just lovely to see so many people in the greenhouse. It's kind of what it's all about, actually. A lot of people think our project is a plant project. And yes, there's a lot of plants involved, but really it's all about people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. Enjoy your orchids.
It's going well at the moment. Sales are doing absolutely brilliantly.
It's a big year, 2013, so we're off to Rwanda in February, where we're setting up the first stages of our orchid projects with Rwandan schools. And then in March, I've got a big group of students heading to the Himalayas.
And it's clear Jacob's adventures with orchids are only just the beginning. He's set to qualify as the youngest orchid judge in the UK, and one day he hopes to work at Kew Gardens.
Orchids to me mean the world. They are what keeps me going, really. Keeps me coming to school at 7:30 in the morning, going home as late as I want, late as I can, and sort of just give me that edge. I don't really see how I did without them now.
And I'm pleased to report that the science teacher Simon Pugh-Jones, featured in that film, was awarded an MBE in the New Year's Honours List.